Well, we're going to see how well that works. I got no way in telling if it's working. All right, cool. I said save. Save changes. Error updating video. Are you fucking kidding me? Hit save. Good. You want to try that one more time? Okay, yeah, monetization on. Good. Yeah, because that works well. Crash the friggin' Wi-Fi here. Close studio. Can edit. This is getting on my nerves. Busted ass friggin' links. How about you just go to the damn link? Hmm. Alright then. Alright, well, they're up.
800 milligrams of Motrin later. I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Not an easy job. A lot of distractions this morning. A lot of paperwork. Paperwork sucks. I don't get paid to do paperwork. So if y'all wonder why we hate your warranty work, not only does it not pay well, but we don't get paid for all the administrative BS that comes along with it. That's the beautiful, silly stuff. Beautiful, silly stuff. That's what BS stands for. The beautiful, silly stuff that comes with it. Writing it up, getting the correct warranty prices, going to the warranty officer, waiting in line. A lot of hurry up and waiting. Took me an hour and a half. An hour and a half to do all the administrative work. So that way I could tell somebody they have an oil leak that needs to be fixed, and that oil leak's only going to pay 9 hours. I don't get paid for that admin work. So when you get grouchy that your car needs a repair that you're not paying for, just remember, I'm looking out for you. I'm looking out for you. So be nice. It was free. This isn't free. Hell no, this isn't free. But it hurts. And I just acquired another 2 of these. I don't like them. I don't like them because it's stuffy in here. I don't like them because it hurts. And I don't like them because when you do it, you got to be committed. And there's a lot of distractions and a lot of people with questions. And you're going to hear a lot of honking. And hopefully, there's not going to be too much background music this time. I can't stop the background music. The honking mostly comes from all the people who got nothing better to do than play the game where they like honking. See? He's driving 30 feet out of the damn service bay, and he's got to honk every 10 feet. No one has ever been hit in the service bay with a car, because we're looking for cars. And heaven forbid, there's 2 of them, they got to honk at each other every 2 feet. I honk, I see you, I see you, I see you, I see you. Oh my gosh, like 5-year-olds. I wonder why I wear earplugs all day. I can't even listen to my own music. So every time I try and put my earbuds in, I'm like, I'm gonna listen to a nice little audiobook, or I'm gonna listen to a little bit of music and get my thing done. That shit's like catnip for my advisors or my manager. They're like, oh, Joe's gonna put his earbuds in. Let's go talk to him. Let's ask him questions. So you should see me at the end of the last stream. I had this whole bar laying on top of me. Like I'm laid this way. And I got this bar on top of me. And the advisor's like, you look kind of busy, but you need something? I'm like, yeah, I look kind of busy, don't I? The kind of busy where you should go to somebody else kind of busy? Alright, well, this is a part where people are being like, stop your bitching and moaning. Get to work. Fine. Fine. But bitching and moaning is what puts me in the mood to work. I work better when I'm angry, you know? Actually, I'm in a lot of pain. A lot of pain. May not believe it, but I'm like going on 45. Kind of getting the old man problems. But started doing physical therapy again and working out. That's not helping. It'll help in the long run, but in the short term, it's definitely not helping. No, a lot of pain, a lot of pain. But I'm committed. I'm committed again. Committed to getting off my ass and stop being in so much pain. Because I am a pretty active person when I'm in shape. Alright, let's see if I can squirrel this in. Okay. If you ever do Pilates, this is called putting in the dash by yourself. This is the crash beam pose. Where's that guide pin at? I can't see. Oh, okay, I gotta come up more on this side. Alright, so that side's on. About that side. That side fall off? Yeah. There we go. Careful with your crash beams, putting them in. A lot of sharp metals. You got to wear good leather gloves. Don't use those plastic gloves. These crash beams is nothing but unfinished metal. They got edges that'll give you stitches in your hand. Lots of stitches, like the kind of bleeding that don't stop for a while kind of stitches. Why do they leave? Why is it made like that, you say? That sounds really unsafe. Probably because somebody said, what are the odds this thing's going to be pulled out? Just cut it cheap, leave all them razor sharp edges. Ain't nobody going to pull this out. No way. We got a air box here. That's got to get squared up to this. So let's make sure she's squared up pretty good. I got a connecting point right here in the middle. There's one here on the blower box too that has to connect. That connected. Good. Yeehaw. One more right here. This is the important one. This one. Whoops. Steering column. We really want to make sure our blower box gets lined up with. So let's get that in. Here's a pro tip for you old folks, people who are doing this in your 40s. You got all kinds of body and ache pains. You can take a lot of ibuprofen, aspirin. That's just that stuff's just gonna blow your liver out and burn your stomach lining up. I recommend taking a nitric oxide supplement. There we go. Take a nitric oxide supplement because that That enables your red blood cells to carry more oxygen, and that gets to the areas where there's all the inflammation, because you're taking ibuprofen and aspirin and whatever kind of over-the-counter stuff to reduce your inflammation. Yeah, that works with that stuff, but again, that's a toxin that your body has to digest through your kidneys and your liver, and a lot of people got really messed up stomach linings, and if you're a heavy drinker, whew, you're going to get even more problems. I mean, there's a lot of people from my military days, and they've been in a lot of pain. They don't tell anybody because they're tough boys, and they're just pounding Motrin and Tylenol and ibuprofen, whatever the hell works. And they're also like heavy drinkers. So alcohol and painkillers, they don't go together, not because you can intensify the effect of the painkiller, but it's because it rots your stomach lining out. So unless you want to like live with ulcers the rest of your life, or in one case, my buddy's got he's getting part of his stomach removed because the ulcers are so bad it just keeps coming back. They just took the stomach out. Don't do that. If you're in pain, talk to somebody. Anyhow, let's not go on that bad trip there. Let's get to work on this. How many people we got in here? Really? Only one person's in here. How does one person only come in here? I usually do these things and they're blown the fuck up. Oh, I know what's going on. Okay, no, I need mother. Hi. It's all yours. Take it away. Don't bring it back. Take it away. Don't bring it back. Yeah, 100%. I don't want that crap in my area. Uh, Alright, sorry about that. Camera difficulty. Had to go fix the other camera. I just realized that my vertical stream was on a unlisted setting because I was playing around with setting something up and forgot to change my settings. Yeah. That's it. Oh. Tell you what, I am not getting good sleep at all. Like I think the last 2 weeks. No, wait, no, probably all the way back to, let's call it 7 days. Fine, that's about as far as I can remember. I've only been getting like 6 hours of sleep. That's not good. It's taking me too long to get started in the day. And then I get home and I'm up till midnight. Alright, we're gonna get these 3 bolts in on the side of the crash beam first. Then now You do the driver's side first because these are the non-adjustable ones, so you bolt this all the way up, and now we're going to bolt that all the way up. If you do it the other way around, this won't be centered. Well, that'll make a problem. Well, shoot, I guess I should have shown you these little stupid nuts that come out of this crash beam on the passenger side, but maybe you could see them right here. So there's these little plastic derpy things right here, and they have a reverse threaded nut in them. So as you tighten down these, let's call them carriage bolts. As you tighten down these carriage bolts, it pulls out the spacer, okay, and it keeps this crash bar from making noise. Well, you gotta wind those all the way in. I should have showed you that, and I didn't. It's not my fault. Alright, so that one did it correctly. Now I had to go through the annoying process of why the top one didn't do it. You got to make sure they do it. Sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. And if they don't do it, then you got to pull that thing out of there. Do it right. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah. You're going to be a mean Sally, aren't you? Try and give her a little bit of help here. See if it wants some help. There you go. That's working. Using a screwdriver to help her. Looks like a piece of that plastic just kind of got a little burr in it. Didn't want to let it come out. That's okay. These are working now. You don't want to dork these things up, too. I guarantee you they're not sold separately. They come with the crash beam. So, you dork one up and you need one, and it's causing a rattle, or your crash beam don't sit straight, you go into the pick and pull. Double check these AC louvers here for the floor ducts, because they love popping out. And if we don't get them set up right, they'll whistle. Good. You can tell I'm not a big fan of them. So I did confirm, as I said I would. I did confirm there was some naughtiness done. This has been pulled once before. This crash beam was pulled, and it looks like it was an aftermarket Evap core. Because it didn't have any of my familiar markings on it. I didn't see any Japanese markings on it. It was completely, compared to the brand new one I put in, absolutely zero markings. But the temperature outside is a wonderful 101 degrees, I think. What's it say outside? Let's see what it says outside. 94, 47% humidity. And I'm trapped inside of a car cabin doing a dash. You wonder why these jobs take so long? It's because it's hot. I need the 2 bolts that go there. That's for the gauge cluster. I don't want those. Souvenir. You know, we just had a huge lecture about how to organize your bolts when I first started this. Did we not? I take 2 bolts out of here. They need to be in my right-hand door card. And are they there? No, because I pulled them out of the center of the car, so they're in the center cup holder. That just makes so much sense. Hmm. Tell you what, I'll be happy to see this job be done. I had a bunch of people saying yesterday that dash is never going to fit right again. Never had a problem with this. Maybe you have problems getting dashes to go back together correctly. I don't got problems. Well, I mean, I do have like problems, but I don't have problems with this. Okay, so bolt here, 2 bolts there, 3 bolts there, 3 bolts there. And then I got my one thing up here, and okay, well, one more back there, and that is for that. I can get that last. So I'm going to bring the dash in now. Okay, so the dash is going to come in, and we got to go through our memory of all those dirty little wiring harnesses that were going to give us problems, like the ones that right up here on the A pillar, because they suck. Yeah, so let's get those out of the way. Over here, we got this fun action. One of these is a speaker wire. It's going to be this one. The other one is for a sensor, which is over here. Blah. So I got to make sure that these things are routed and ready to be well fished out of there. Right about there is kind of good. I got another one here. Okay, that goes up there. Subload sensor and something else that's stupid. There's some bamboozlery. If that one gives you problems, just put a piece of string through the dash and pull the harness through. Let's get crack-lacking. I'm gonna need my shifter back like that. Can you believe the dash remove procedure says pull the shifter assembly out? You pull the shifter assembly, you gotta go underneath and like disconnect shifter cables. That's stupid. What's chalk the vehicle and do this? That's why you don't read all the steps verbatim. Alright, so here comes the suck. Alright, here comes the suck. And it's going to be that big center console part that is just going to be an annoyance. Hence why they want the shifter assembly out of there. I'm going to work around it. That little stick comes out. That's a few more millimeters that I have to worry about. Actually, what's the more annoying part is the airbag assembly that is catching on the harness and ripping wires. No, it's not really ripping wires, but it's trying to. And then all this AC ducking. Again, like there's three bolts that should not have been part of this crash beam. And if it was designed like that, this dash would have come out with the crash beam and the harness lickety split, no problems. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that. This driver's side is hitting the A pillar by about 5 millimeters. All right. Trying not to use too much tough love, but if it needs it, she's gonna get it. This shit's like a hernia waiting to happen. Okay. Yeah, I'm way too far over on the driver's side. I need to scooch this way. What is preventing me from getting a good scooch out of this? Probably half the damn clutter that comes with this. Okay. Okay, now I got some wires here. Better make sure they come out. They're not going to get their Paul Harvey. You know, you got to plug in them antenna wires so they can listen to all that, all those chatterboxes out there on the radio waves. Right, so I got that, and that's going to clip here on the dash. Then there's a lead-off wire, so it doesn't get cut in half. Because, you know, it wants to get cut in half. Now, let's make sure that speaker wire, which is not where it needs to be, is where it needs to be. Or I'll be wasting a lot of time pulling this dash. One of the greatest things I got from my mother. Small hands. Does make doing all this crappy work easier. Go it. It needs to go into the hole. What is it? Is this the part where we have a conversation about how much I don't like you? It might be. Yep. If that loom was catching there. And now that it's out of the way. Oh. What a stupid. I know some people are like, man, that's a dumb design. This is a dumb design. But we're not done yet. Oh no. We got all this fun stuff. We don't want to start zipping our dash down just yet. Got to make sure now all our ducks are in a row. By that I mean our AC ducks. Get all our wires routed. It's going to be lots of routing. Okay, so there's a... Come out of there. I just want you to stay right here for reference, because there's going to be some gauge cluster cables that are mysteriously not here. I'm not happy about that. Mystery cable found. All right. Looking for another mystery cable, and should be another one. Okay. Got the two cables for my keyless access module, or if you're a Toyota guy, coalition control module. So you guys got to say it like you're like a G.I. Joe or something. The coalition control module squad. It's all radio junk. There's already one guy. If you guys don't know what I do on my channel, you see I got you on the vertical. See, I brought you in on the vertical, but now you can go click on my main channel and you can see the HD wide angle lens from my GoPro. Yeah, but you know, it does require that you have to turn your phone sideways. I know how y'all hate that. That's why I do this vertical garbage. Because you love the vertical. It's all about the length, not the girth, right? It's okay for me to say that because I checked the box that says this is not made for children. Okay, I got this goofy air splitter here. It goes there, as you can obviously see. It doesn't fit. Lunch was kind of miserable today. I forgot to bring my lunch, which stinks. So I made some beautiful chicken and rice at the house because I'm supposed to be eating healthy now and no more fast food. I was really angry about that. I didn't have a lot of time to run out and grab something because, of course, waiters. So I went to the Mickey D's. You know, guys, something happened to them. They got expensive just out of the blue somewhere. But the wife and I, we share a like a little McDonald's app account, so we can like rack up the reward points really fast. And like she's a profusive McDonald's eater. She loves the iced coffee. They always got deals on there. I signed on there today. It was like bull crap deals. They took down all the good deals. They used to have like 99-cent any size iced coffee, buy one get one free double cheeseburgers. Well, all that is, oh, and like buy one get one biscuits. That's all gone. Now they're trying to push this $5 adult Happy Meal. It's like a $5 value meal or something. but I'm not impressed. Okay, one of these I need and one of these I don't. One of them's for the center speaker. Right? Come on, who was paying attention last time? Somebody here is supposed to be watching me. Here's my center speaker, and is it this? It should be this one. Yeah, it's this one right here. Boom. So that means that this other one right here gets routed up there. And this is the one you're supposed to have a piece of string on. Did I do the spring trick? Nope. There it is. Where's my zippy gun? That's what I want. Okay, I want to get that in there. All right, get that center duct support in there. That in. I'll tell you, if you pull a dash, give you a big tip here. If you're pulling dashes, um, you have to get them back in the car really fast. Like, don't leave them out of the car too long, cause they like to take on another shape, and they can get kind of fun to put in. So if you got a dash that's gonna be out for a little while, and you don't want to be fighting it, find like a cradle to put it in, so it can retain its shape. One of my mystery wires walked off. I'm not happy. I'm trying to find it. I need that speaker wire. Where are you? I got it. 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 What did it get caught on? Gotta get this in before she walks away. Whew. All right. You stay there, you little sneaky guy. She run here. Center speaker. Check. Yepper, I just found out today, which is why I was doing a lot of paperwork, because it's all damn warranty. I get to do another Evap core on another dash just like this. Not too excited. And then I have a got one to do on a 2024 Crosstrek. That one shouldn't be as bad because I'm pretty sure the dash is going to come with the crash beam. I tell you, they just don't build Evap cores like they used to. I mean, you'd really just think, if you're like, of all the things that you were going to cheap out on, you'd be like, that's buried in the dash. It's a big 8-hour job. Maybe we should spend the extra $50 and make it stout. You know, we can cheap out on something else. That's how I would feel about it. I'd be like, you can pull engines and fix those problems all day long. Pull transmissions, fix those problems all day long. Last thing I would want is somebody gutting an interior because, you know, we went with aluminum 54 instead of aluminum 57. Just my thoughts. But I don't know a lot about metallurgy, so who knows? I don't want that yet. I do want this. Put that there so I remember to use it. I want this sensor right here. should be orientated. Right?
Yep.
Ugh. No, no. Where's the wire? Where's the wire? Oh, man. I didn't check the orientation. I swear, guys, I swear I checked this orientation on this wire over here. If I can find out what it's... Okay. So I slipped out of position big time. I swear I had that tucked up to where I could get it. Not happy about that. Ow. Is that the card you were looking for? I don't think that's your card. Let's try this magic trick again. Oh, see it? Ouch. Bloody hell. You found something to get your ass wrapped around. I don't like it. What the hell is it? Seriously. Give me back my eye. You stabbed me in the face with my flashlight. Ooh. Broke my pencil. Man. That's the card you were looking for. All right. Lousy magic tricks. Now, what's gotta be a magic trick is this wire needs to come out of this hole over here. And there's not a lot of funny ways I can. That's not cool. Not really too sure how I'm going to get out of this silly situation. Without having to pull the dash back out. It needs to go over here. Oh, there's gonna be some ugly routing. Where partition. If I can just get my light to stay. That's a lot of suck. It's working. I'm just smashing my hand doing it. Come on. Okay, it's part of that. So if you're going to route this efficiently, going underneath the ducking is not efficient, apparently. Through the ducking is. $10 says I got the wrong tip. I got the speaker. God, man. Alright. Well, I guess I gotta. Okay. There you go. It's like pulling a rabbit out of your ass. Alright, just that easy. Just that easy. Past kidney stones that were easier. Back in your home now. Please go back in your home. You want to go back in your home. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. There, you stupid sensor. So glad they gave me like all the cable slack in the world to do this. I knew it wasn't in there all the way. Click. There. How hard is it just to click in the place? Should have seen me trying to get all these connector clips undone in the first place. I swear everything had a light coat of FU on it. It wants to go in there. I'm trying to get the sensor to go into the piece of trim so I can get the piece of trim in. There we go. And then this garbage is supposed to slide in like so. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, did the backup, did we run out of batteries? No, you have reserve batteries. Your GoPro turned itself off during the previous session because it ran out. Yeah, that's why you have a backup battery, you dummy. Ugh. You gotta fire up the widescreen again. Are you Jesus fucking kidding me here? Get alive. Alright, okay, so widescreen's back up. So you can go back to the channel, you can see that one if you want to watch it in widescreen. Now I just want to know why. Yeah, see there's little slits. There's forward slits and down slits. This doing really stupid. I wonder if it's these sensors holding me back. Alright, I'm gonna pop the sensors out of the trim but leave them plugged in. And see if that yeah, that's helping, that's helping. I'm trying to make sure that everything grabs where it's supposed to. It's not wanting to click into place. When in doubt, mental reset. So let's get these sensors off. Do a mental reset here. So this is what I'm fighting. I got all those forward clips. They gotta go in. It's quite aggravating. It should just stab right into place, but it's not. So what I'm wondering is, if the best method might be to feed the wires through the slot. Jack, wires in the slots. Now, try and get everything you can. Ooh! Yeah! Those are good noises, not bad noises. Good noises. Okay. There we go. Not like pulling a dash out of 4 Ranger. Y'all want to have this pretty bubbly dash. This is what it costs. Now, where's that other sensor? There it is. Yeah. There we go. Get in there. That smackaroo. Fixes it every time. Those were good smacks. Those weren't bad smacks. Those were needed smacks. Those were needed spanks. Kind of like how you hit your child. It was needed. It was justified. I don't know. Can you still hit children today? Shoot, I grew up in the era where you could, as long as you had a kid, you could hit any other kid you wanted. Those were my days. I remember being at the grocery mart with my mom and I wandered off, did something stupid, and I got smacked by a random person. And there was like that secret eye look that your parents have with the other person. They kind of give you the nod like, I got a kid. And they're like, okay, you're cool. You're not a creeper just hitting kids at random. Like, all my life, I couldn't wait. I was like, man, I can't wait till I grow up and have kids of my own. I'm gonna beat the crap out of so many other random kids for doing stupid stuff. Nope, can't do that. Change the law. Can't hit kids. It's not good parenting. Speaker, speaker, speaker. Yay! This is a really happy place to be. We are now on the home run stretch. There is light at the end of the tunnel, so to say. I feel good. Okay, before I get too committed with anything else, I got to get this little sneaky piece of air ducting in. And we got a sneaker in because, of course, there should be no shifter assembly here, and it should just slide right in. As the book tells you, pull the shifter assembly. My ass. You know, they say when they come up with the warranty times for this, that they have somebody tear it down like 3 times and they take the average. Nope. I don't believe it one bit. I swear they make that stuff up. They just kind of go, on a good day it would take me this. Bro, if your job was to take apart new cars to come up with warranty time, you would hate your job. Because every time you'd be like, this is going to suck. You would have an infinite amount of zip tie cuts. And another reason I know why they don't have somebody like actually doing the 3-time teardown to come up with warranty time. This is how I know nobody does this. Because all this bull crap that I've been talking about that I've found along the way of if they just did this, this wouldn't be a problem. They just did this, this wouldn't be a problem. That dude would have been calling it out. He'd been like, yo guys, you guys made this stupid. A lot of things would have gotten addressed really quick. And if you're wondering why this is just so stupid put together, it's because when they put it together at the power plant or at the car factory, the dash, the crossbeam, the wiring harness, the HVAC core, the heater core, the blower, that all goes in one shot. Like, this car is gutted, okay? The only thing in this car at that time is not even the fucking carpet, actually. You think there'd be carpet in here? No, there's no carpet. I guarantee there's no carpet in here. No seats, no carpet, no doors, no windshield. And they have a robot arm that comes in, slams the whole thing in. Blower motor, crash beam, dash, wiring harness, all one piece. Then you got two guys walking side by side on the car just clipping stuff in. They probably install this thing at the factory in like 3 minutes. What time is it? It's going about 4:45 Central Standard Time. Some of you were asking me whatever happened to the STI that advisor came and talked to me about during the dash pull. Like, is that right at the very end? The advisor comes by and tells me there's an STI here that we've been working on. She's back. Yeah, well, I stayed and looked at it. It's here for probably till about 6:30. Making sure I got a good for sure answer on it, because We put a radiator in her because it blew. And I did a good post check for the radiator install, so I did a combustion leak test to make sure I didn't have any combustion gases in my radiator. Then I did a 5-gas test to make sure everything else was healthy. I did put in my notes and I did tell them, you know, the CO2 was kind of low. There was some hydrocarbons, and I ran that test 3 times over 2 days. So I said something in the engine's not burning fuel right. I told him, I says, it could be bad fuel because the guy doesn't drive the car a lot. So you could have some following out spark plugs, and he doesn't know when the spark plugs were changed. Could be a lot of things. I wasn't suspecting a bad MAF sensor. I was happy with the results on the MAF sensor. But I was getting a little bit of carbon monoxide. I was getting a lot of hydrocarbons. I think I had about 162 parts per million. That's a lot. Customer didn't want anything else. Came back 2 days later. He's got a check engine light for a rich condition. Looked at it again. Yep, stuck rich. So I think what I saw was the early signs of a failing oxygen sensor. Mainly probably just the AF sensor, the front O2, the AFR sensor, the wideband. Sorry, I got so many people who got upset because I called a front O2 sensor an AFR sensor. It's a wideband. You don't know anything. Tell you what, you work in any industry long enough, you're gonna start using a lot of shorthand language. So just deal with it. Hey, it got so bad in that video, I just stopped answering the question. I could tell people were just trying to just be jerks about it. You're like, what's the difference between an AFR and a wideband? You know. Okay. Good. We're good. We're good. Got a blender switch installed. I got that blender installed. I see some more green right here. Is this another? Okay, that's a blender. I got a blender hiding over here. I might. Yep, there's a blender hiding right there. And that would have been really useful to plug in when the dash was out. Okay, note to self. Plug in all the blenders before you put in the damn dash, Joe. I got one more of these to do, so I gotta keep all these notes. A lot of notes to keep. Tell you what I gotta do is, I gotta do me a tool haul video. Guys, I got some cool stuff. I got some really, really cool stuff. You know what? I need to stretch my back. I'll show you one thing that I got. You guys are gonna love it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. The deal of a lifetime right here in my hands. I got a deal. Now, if you got a good deal, now I consider a deal of a lifetime as something that you pay for. You just don't obtain it for free. Like, oh, somebody gave it to me. My deal was better. Yeah, well, go home and make cookies. See if anybody cares. This is an E-Tech milliometer, part number 380580. She runs anywhere between $8 and $1,000. Picked me one up secondhand with a fresh calibration on it. Look at that. $200. $200. Beautiful. Had to buy some test leads for it, so that was another 80. So I got 280 invested in this. This is nice. Now, I know that there are some $100 ones on the market. Yeah, I've used those $100 ones. I don't like them because the calibration can drift in them, and you have this little tune knob that you got to do. No, this one, auto cal. It's calibrated to the leads that come with it. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. So yeah, super happy about this. Now, I ask you, who knows what I'm going to use this for? What do you need a milliometer for? Because if you know what you need a milliometer for, then you know what I'm going to be working on in the future. So that was a pretty exciting thing for me. I waited, oh God, like a month and a half for that to come in. And for the longest time, I thought it was lost in the mail. I mean, I had insurance and tracking and stuff like that. So I think like with the shipping, the insurance, the tracking, and having to buy a whole new set of leads for it, 300. Don't tell the wife. She'll get mad. But you know, if the wife is listening, she heard me say that. You know what I'm going to tell her to do? Like and subscribe the video. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe for future more content. Watch me work videos. That's what I'll tell her. I'll be like, are you a subscriber? She'd be like, hell no. I'm your wife. And I'll be like, there's your problem. If you were subscribed, you'd hear me talking about this stuff before I even buy it. That's a 12 and I need a 10. Yeah, work. This has just been a bad starting out week. I don't like it. I don't feel good about it. So what I'm trying to get my hands on right now is a fuel injector cleaner. Because with my customer pay engine teardowns, I want to start doing spray testing on the injectors for my customers. Shop doesn't want to invest in it. Shop just goes, oh, well, how often do those things go out, Joe? Like, you don't know because we don't test them. And guys, that's why that is like the whole point of like my YouTube adventure is I really want to get into my own shop because if you're tearing down engines, like I really want to make it worth the customer's money. You're spending like $3,000 to pay somebody just in labor, $3,000 in labor to tear your engine down to the short block and reseal it, repair it, do whatever. I mean, I really want to be. I really think that you would want the rest of your systems inspected, double checked, make sure everything was good to go. So obviously, if you're putting that much money into it, even a grocery getter, I got customers. They got their little cross treks and they'll pump money into them. They really will. I got a really nice couple. Her husband's a mechanic. He just straight up says, I don't want to work on a Subaru. He says I would do it myself, but I don't want to work on a Subaru. I get it. You know, if I owned a Mercedes, I wouldn't want to work on a Mercedes. I would probably just be like, hey, it's your problem. But we talked on the phone. I won his trust. We're going to be cracking that sucker open, hopefully this week. I worked a really good deal out with our local machine shop. So I'm not going to be vacuum testing and port matching and lapping cylinder heads anymore. I got him to come on board with the idea of I'm going to be sending more business his way, so maybe he could help out by dropping the cost a little bit. So right now what we've come to terms is this is what we've come to terms with. To skin a head, and skinning means to machine a cylinder head, he's going to do them for $100 a pop, flat. Doesn't matter if it's a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder. And I says, that's good. That'll keep it easy for my advisors. But I told him, I says, you know, I like to go above and beyond. And I talked to him about all this lapping the valves and checking compressions and checking vacuum. And he says, yeah, we do all that. So I visited his shop to go double check and make sure that he was going to do it the way that I like to do it. Because if I'm going to sell somebody else's service, I want to see what tooling you're using. And yeah, he's got all the same tools that I do. We got Goodson tools. So, good energy all the way around from that guy. I like him. So obviously, I want him to make money. But I also don't want to be breaking my back doing these lapping cylinder heads by hand anymore. It might be fun to do in your garage with your buddies and a 6-pack of beer, and you guys are taking turns whacking off the old valve lapper. But you know, you're trying to do it as a you're trying to do it as an old man, as a career choice, folks. That's what machines are for, and that's what he has. He's got a machine, and then he can just go pop, 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 knock them all out. So I was doing. You almost got me. So I was doing these cylinder head rebuilds with the valve lapping and the vacuum testing down. I got old videos on that. So, and that was a complete cylinder. That was a complete engine rebuild. 24 hours. Any engine. FA, FB, EJs, Easy 30s, Easy 36. Strip them all down. Measure everything, shim everything, port match everything, valve lap everything, check your valves, check your springs. Well, now I'm going to be doing it for 20 because 4 hours of that is going to be going to this dude. It's going to this shop. And he's going to be able to do it more precise than I am because he's using precision machinery. Yeah, so $100 a head, and then $400 maximum for both cylinder heads to lap the valves and change out the valve seals. Because obviously, if you're lapping valves, you're putting new valve seals in anyways. He'll check the spring tension, and he'll check for wobble on the valve stems, and he'll inspect the valve guides. Just all really, really good. But because he has a permanent station set up, he can do it much more faster and much more cheaper. So the customer is actually technically saving some money. And their engine will get out of here faster too. So win-win. So would I like to have those additional 4 hours? Yes, I would. But am I happy to let it go so I can do something else? Because it honestly does take me about 2-3 hours to knock out both cylinder heads and do all that testing. Yeah, I kind of am. Because at the end of it, my hands hurt, my back hurts, and it's a big station that I got to set up. I got to get all the tools out of my toolbox. I got to set up my portable tables. Y'all have seen it. Like, then you get all that Prussian blue all over you. So, yeah, I'm just seriously happy that I found somebody that can do it and can do it better. That's the important thing. Is not only is he going to do it and save my customers money, but he's going to do it better than I can. Ooh, somebody's getting a spanking. I think he made an. I just overheard what was happening, so I think he just made an honest mistake. But I think it's worth sharing to everybody. Um, if you got to work on somebody's car and they got child seats in the back seat, I think that person was just doing a fuel pump, and there was kid seats in the back seat. Got to pull up the back seat, put the baby seats back in. That is a garage no-no. You do not reinstall children's seats after taking them out of a vehicle. No, you do not. The reason being is if anything happens, if those seats were installed incorrectly for any reason, you do not want that on your shop. You need to just tell the customer, like, I'm very sorry, the car seats had to come out for liability reasons. We do not reinstall child restraints. You need to put them in, and you need to inspect them. There was a time for a while where we were told not even to take them out. Like Like if somebody came in for work and you had to take the child's seat out, they would just be like, we need to call a customer, get them back in here. They need to take the child's seat out. Nobody can touch it. Because them baby seats, they can be expensive. And if you don't have kids and you don't know how that seat comes apart, whew, that's a big bill. So I'm glad that we got over that phase. Yeah, don't put in somebody else's child seats. So we once had an airbag recall, and it was on a Forester, and the customer had all these handicap features on there so they could drive, they could use the brake and the accelerator with their hands and not their feet. And there was a lot of disabled things that were on the vehicle. Long story short is that really did make it impossible to pull the dash to do the airbag recall. So when the customer showed up, we had to tell them, hey, whoever installed your stuff, you need to have them install this equipment so we can do the recall. Whew, did that not go over well. That person did not take it nice. And we weren't being jerks about it. We just told them, like, this is not our equipment. We don't have instructions on it. It definitely has some lockout features on here so nobody can tamper with it. Like, we don't want to be responsible for it. And they literally just like called an Uber and left the car here and said, you guys figure it out. I didn't want this recall, you figure it out. Well, what are we supposed to do? Car was here for 2 weeks. Before anything happened. Until finally, one of the managers just came around and said, like, just find a way to take it apart. And he says, then we're going to ship it to Austin and have them reinstall it and certify it and bring it back. Everything in that car was a one-way screw. I kid you not. Everything was breaking on the way out. And we even called the people who installed it, and we were like, how do you want to install it? And he's like, it's simple. You just look at it, you uninstall it. I'm like, I know. But us is, we're turning these nuts and they just spin. He's like, well, you broke something. We didn't break anything. It's like after the second thing after the second bolt had a problem, I said it was enough. The shop ended up sending it to these guys and the neighboring city, which is about 2 hours away. And now they're like, well, you guys broke everything on here. We didn't break anything. You guys put it in. You put it in. It was like just a big game of who broke what, who put what in wrong. And that's why you just don't get involved in that kind of stuff. People are looking at me like, you did something wrong. Like, how could I do something wrong that was being arrogant? There we go. All right. Them handicap controls, though, that was a nightmare, though. I don't know how many times I keep telling people, don't let yourself get talked into doing stupid stuff. And I let myself get talked into doing stupid stuff. Because the person who told me to do that was like, yeah, I'm going to back you up. He didn't back up anything. Blame me for everything. So be careful about what favors you do in your shop. So I got a poor customer car. It's been here way too long. But that's just because over the years I finally learned how to put my foot down and keep my foot down. And I wasn't budging on this one. But it's a 100,000 mile STI. 100,000 mile STI. It's almost 10 years old. It's 8 years old actually, but going on 10. It's got some age on her. And it was bought from a place that sells third-party warranties. And right out the gate, the owner's got it. It's got check engine lights. It's got problems. So, like, the customer's already signed for the car. The title's in his name. But now it's here. So we can't use the third-party warranty. Can't use the third-party warranty because there's a 30-day cooldown. So the car rots here. Well, we're like going back and forth with customer, the mom and pop shop. Everyone's taking like 4 or 5 days to get back to us, and we know what they're doing. They're waiting for the cooldowns to expire, so that way that they can use the third-party warranty to fix the car. So now the car's here, or now we get approval to work on the car. The car needs like oil control solenoids. It needs a camshaft. Needs a camshaft and a crankshaft seal replaced. It's got a dead phaser. It's got dead oxygen sensors. I mean, the car looks like it was like modified really heavy and somebody put it back together really sloppy when they took all their mods off. It's typical Threadboy trash. And I'm working with the insurance company and I tell them, says, hey, you want me to take off a 100,000 mile timing belt and you want me to reuse it? And they said, yeah, we don't cover wear and tear. So we tell the customer, hey, this is what your third party is doing. Like, and I told them, I'm not going into your engine and reusing a 100,000 mile belt. Because that, no way. I was like, this car's got to come back. It's got to jump timing. Like, I don't want to be involved with this car. So it rots a little bit. So now the car seller's calling us up. Well, like, what can we do? And I says, you can take the car back or you can buy a timing belt, but I am not taking off a 100,000 mile timing belt and reusing it. That's foolish. Warranty doesn't cover it. Somebody's buying it. I'm not doing this job. So now they're freaking. And our customer doesn't want to do anything because obviously, they bought the car that was told, and they were told that it was in a specific condition or it was running well, and now it's not running well. So I don't blame him or her, I don't know, for not wanting to pony up any cash. I get that. But I'm getting aggravated every day about it by managers and the advisor. But it's taken a lot out of me to just say, no, I'm not doing it. He said, you can go find anybody else who wants to do it. I says, here's all the warranty paperwork. I've already done all the running around on it. I did all the parts hunting. I did all the diagnosing. You can give the job to anybody you want. But good luck finding anybody who wants to reuse a 100,000 mile timing belt. Because if anything mechanical happens to that engine down the road, you know who's going to be held liable for it? The last person who touched it. That's who. And you might be thinking, well, this person has a warranty, so who cares? You haven't worked with third-party warranty. They're going to say, hey, you're telling me this car jumped time? Didn't you take the belt off to do that job? So you must have done it wrong. So we're going to deny warranty. And I tell you what, as soon as they click that button, deny, it can never be reversed. Never be reversed. Takes an act of Congress to get it reversed. I've seen one reversal in my life. One. And that was where it was like a big shot dealership. It was a Chrysler Jeep and Dodge dealership that sold one of our cars, and that third party was playing hardball, and this was a third party warranty that they sell. So the president had gotten involved, and I'm just dropping in on the conference call like what's going on, because they're asking me to stay in case I have to answer any questions about what's wrong with the car. And I just hear him announce himself and just said, well, he says, is so-and-so in the room? And they go, well, who's that? And he says, the person who should be auditing this call. He says, I'm the one who sells about 50 of these warranties for your company a month. He says, yeah, and he says, I own 3 other dealerships, and they also sell about 50 of these a month. He says, you don't pay this, I'll find somebody else. He says, I will drop you altogether, and I will never sell for this. And he says, and I will take this message to every other dealership president I know, and we will drop you. You will not work in this town. That claim got approved by the end of the day. But that's kind of what it took. But it was definitely a BS scenario where the claim should have paid out. But the people running the claim office, like, they're just like spreadsheet junkies. So they really don't know anything about cars. And they're just checking boxes. But that was a really, really messed up claim, and that claim, I can't prove it, but I am very confident that it was because of the investigators. See, the investigator that shows up to do your warranty claim, they're just there to take pictures. They take pictures and they fill out the questionnaire sheet, and they're not supposed to do anything else. And I've seen this investigator before, and he's one of those I think I know what I'm talking about kind of people. And folks, I'm grabbing a piece of trim. So he does. I've worked with him a few times before, and I know he don't know too much about what he's talking about, but he talks a big game and acts like I used to do all this engine building stuff, and now like I'm too old for it, so now I just do investigations. It's a believable story to anybody who can't sniff out the bullshit. But this was an investigator, and he was working with somebody that didn't know how to stop. He didn't. This new technician didn't know when to stop answering questions. Like, just kept talking to the guy and feeding him information after information, because this investigator was just being a little chatterbox, trying to tell some big fish stories. So the investigator kind of goes like, "Oh well, sounds like this person drove into some water and it shouldn't be covered," and that was the message that got sent up, which wasn't the story. But because that investigator got involved into that claim, the person at the claim office was like, "Oh yeah, you're our hero. You found the real solution, so let's go ahead and kill the claim." That was super frustrating. Because you got a warranty engine, it's all torn apart. Who's going to pay? Who's paying the person for tearing it down? Hmm? That's supposed to be the warranty. Warranty told us to tear it down. Now the warranty's nicked, so they're not going to pay for anything. Customer's screwed. Customer has an engine torn apart. They have a car they can't drive. They can't afford to put it back together. They're making car payments. That was just a really dumb situation. So if you ever get involved in warranty claims and you got an investigator that comes out, only do what they ask you to do. Don't say anything else. Don't say what you think something is. No. Because they will take that information to heart and they'll say, "Oh, well, this technician thinks it's really this," even though the photos tell this story. And they'll be happy to tank a claim. Because they are there to literally recite everything you say. There was only one claim that I spoke up to the investigator about, and I was, fuck, pinch my nail. I only said it just to help out the customer because the customer was trying to get the dealership to buy the car back from. So the customer had bought an online car with a rebuilt title. And of course, they are told a song and a story how rebuilt title cars are amazing, they're great deals, there's never anything wrong with them. Bull crap. This was like, I have a lot of respect for shops that do retitle vehicles. I've talked to the owners, I've learned about the business model, and yeah, they have to go through a lot of hoops to get a car retitled appropriately. Then you got some people who know how to cheat the program, and they'll buy a car in one state and retitle it in another state, and they'll do some crazy paperwork, and they really don't have to fix the car in a good manner. But this car was definitely a safety problem. And I brought the customer in and I told him everything I saw. I says, "Hey, so you're telling me like this is a new car?" He says, "Yeah." I think at the time the car only had like 9,000 miles on it. The guy was going like, "Man, it's a new car. How does it have a blown engine?" And I explained to them what it was. And I says, looks like this car was in a big accident and the body shop didn't put anything together right. And he's like, really? It was in a body shop? I says, well, you can't tell? I was like, you you got a headlamp that is sticking out. It's incorrect. The hood doesn't shut correctly. Um, the radiator core support is all screwed up. You're missing ground straps. I says, then there's like a big piece of like painter tape that's still in the engine bay. It was a really nasty job. I got them underneath the car, and I says you can see where they welded your body back together. And I says where it crumpled and ripped, they just hammered it out and welded it. I was like, this is kind of scary. And I told him, I said, you should definitely tow your car to a a body shop and have them do a real inspection. I recommended a couple of shops for him to go to. Not your cheap, like, mass production body shops, but independent places. They're a little bit slower, but they'll take the time and look at it correctly. So that car got taken over there. No, the car didn't get taken over there, but the body shop guy showed up and he looked at it on our lift and he was just like, holy crap, this thing's a lawsuit. I said, yep. Like, whatever they could hammer straight, they hammer straight. And whatever they could hammer into place, they hammered into place. And whatever they could weld back together, they weld back together. I mean, it's like the ball joints were welded in, for crying out loud. Like whatever they did to the engine and exhaust, I don't know why the engine had to come out, because it didn't look like they fixed anything on the engine. But they didn't even bother using exhaust gaskets when they put it back together. They just used glue for exhaust gaskets. It was so bad it was getting funny. But it was sad that this person was making car payments on it. So the car was here for a while. Lawyers got involved, investigators got involved. A lot of people got involved with that car. Because it was an out-of-state purchase. Real nasty. And because the problem was between states, now it's getting delayed in the court system, because if you don't understand how our court system works, you got your state courts and you got your federal courts. So it's like they were pretty much just trying to get the people who sold this car were getting away scot-free because they were in another state and this person resides in Texas. And so in order for this vehicle owner to do anything, they had to go back to that other state, which was like 3 states away, and sue them in their own state. That cost a lot of money because that person constantly kept having to fly over there, and his lawyers over there. But that person eventually got the dealership to buy that car back. I was really grateful of it. But I think he lost all in all about 25, like he had $25,000 in legal fees when it was all done. And the dealership ended up eating it all, plus reimbursement. But it was definitely a crap show. So unless you know what you're specifically looking at, don't get a retitled car. If you're not a gearhead, don't get a retitled car. If you are like hey, that's the only thing I can get is a car that's been retitled, fine. then you should have that car inspected professionally. I mean, do not rely on free inspections. Don't be like, "Ooh, I'm gonna take it into Jiffy Lube and get a free inspection." They don't know. No, 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 no. You need to take that car to a specialty shop, and you're gonna pay probably about $300 to have somebody shake that car down, take the tires off, make sure everything's okay, put it on an alignment rack, make sure everything's straight, check for welds. But when you're buying a retitled vehicle, you need to understand one thing, and one thing very, very well. Above everything else that I said about retitled vehicles, you need to understand this one thing. The moment you sign for that paperwork of that retitled vehicle, that rebuilt title, okay, if you sign paperwork for a car that has a rebuilt title, that car from then on is worthless. Because now you have to convince somebody to buy a car with a rebuilt title. That is a very hard sell to do. Because nobody can get a car loan for a rebuilt title. A bank, a credit union will not give you a loan for a rebuilt title. They will not. The people who are giving out loans for rebuilt titles, they're the creditor. Okay? So that's how they can sell them. Keep that in mind. So if you're going to buy a car with a rebuilt title and be like, Yahoo, I got me a 2023 Mustang, $20,000 off, and you think you can trade it in a year down the road and get you a 2025 Mustang, no way. No dealership's going to take it. Just keep that in mind. You are stuck with that car until you convince somebody to buy it from you. And it's going to be a cash deal. Like the only way that rebuilt title system is gonna get fixed, because I do believe there should be a business for cars to have rebuilt titles. The shops that do them right, they do really good jobs. They get certified and they go through better inspections than new cars. So yeah, there's reason to do it, and it would just be good for overall business and helping out people get into cars that they can afford. But unfortunately, the rebuilt title system is controlled by the state, not the federal government. So every state is different. Some states have really weird standards and they just haven't updated the books in like 100 years. Some have really current standards and it's really hard to get a rebuilt title. So that is one thing that I wish that would be federally regulated. So that way somebody can't go buy a car in one state, get a rebuilt title for it, and sell it in another state and screw somebody over. Those are conditions where something should be federally mandated, and it's to prevent scammers from doing something. So my God, it's 5:30, coming up on Hungry 30, folks. 5:30 Central Standard Time. We got pretty far on the stash today. But I gotta make sure that I get me some good sleep. I think I'm gonna make some street tacos for dinner. I got me a 5-pound fryer chicken. Put it in the oven on a Monday. Got it all slow cooked. Tore it apart, shredded it up yesterday. So it's just been soaking, getting all nice and flavorful. Got my red rice all prepared. But I made it all too late, so I didn't get it to really enjoy it. I think I enjoyed it at about 11 o'clock at night. So the one thing that I gotta make to make it legit, I don't know how many of you like this on your street tacos, but I like pickled cabbage. Some fresh stuff. Go get some red cabbage, a little bit of rice vinegar, some sugar, salt. Let it marinate for about an hour. Maybe some onions in there too, like that. That makes a really, really good garnish. So if you didn't hear me say it already, please make sure please make sure you subscribe for these future videos where you do the watch me work. I'm sorry if I don't interact with the chat, but if I'm talking in chat, then I'm not working, right? So how can I make a work video? Whenever I do these watch me work videos, you actually get two cameras set up. So I have the vertical one going right now, which is what I use for you guys to find me, because I know you like to swipe through the shorts, and then you get the option to jump into the stream. Well, if you go to my main channel page, I have the GoPro going, and you can get the full high def. So if you didn't know that, now you know. See, I don't like how that sits. So now, some of you are all like, I can't see what you're doing. And some of you are like, why are you shooting in horizontal? So now you get both. How about them apples? Alright. We got some playing around to do with this gauge cluster. A bit of an eyesore right here. Find out what's going on. Could have been that. It might have been that. I don't know. Yep, there we go. So it was the GPS module. Just wasn't held in place well. How about that start button? I guess we can work that in now, huh? Ugh. Whew. Yeah, I got really bored the other day. I don't get to play a lot of games, you know. I love playing games in my childhood, but then I became an adult, and you got to earn that money. And having time for video games has just been harder and harder and harder. But you know, I made an effort to try and play some games. Oh, did I get sucked in? So for about a week straight, I was playing. Uh-oh, my light's dying. For a week straight, I got into playing Alan Wake Remastered. That's a good game. I completely missed it on the 360 because during my 360 days, if it wasn't Halo, I wasn't playing it because I was one of those Halo nerds. I was like, oh, it's got to be Call of Duty or Halo. So I wasn't really into story-driven games. Now I really don't care about shooters too much anymore. No, it's just dumb nonsense. Like they're not really trying on shooters anymore. I think if you're stuck in the shooter realm, they're just stealing your money because they're just banking on your transactions to go and play online, buy subscriptions, buy add-ons. It's just a big money maker, and it's disappointing. Like the only time I'm gonna play a shooter now is if it actually has like a campaign, like a real campaign. The last shooter that I played was Borderlands 2. I didn't get into the third one too much because it was stupid. Are you kidding me? The little cape doesn't want to stay on there. Like maybe like the controls on Borderlands 3 were really good. The guns were pretty cool, but the story, absolute trash. But that's what happens when a company doesn't want to pay its writing team. I know one of their best writers, like he had to drop out due to illness, and he was doing a lot from home on the second game. But you know, when the writing team was telling him, "Hey, your story sucks. We should really pump some money into your writing team so we can fix this," and they said, "Nah, we're gonna do this thing called Microtransactions. EA's Electronic Arts been making a ton of money doing it, so now we're gonna do it. I will not play any game that has microtransactions in it. I do not support it. I wish more and more people would understand what a microtransaction is and just how you're getting money stolen from you. Like any company that's trying to like even like those season passes, that's a microtransaction, okay? They're selling you something that's not even out yet. They're like, "Oh, buy a season pass and you're going to get all 3 expansions at this discount rate." If you read the contract, they can still opt out of that launch date. And some companies have done this. Like half the people who have done this season pass thing have delayed their launches by up to 6 months, if not even releasing them in that year. Only a couple of them have had class action lawsuits because it was like a Korean company that screwed over a whole bunch of people. But I don't support it. When the game's done, the game's done. I'll buy it then. When the expansion's done, the expansion's done. So I'm not going to give you $120 for a game when there's only $50 worth of playable content. That just doesn't make sense, and I don't want you all to fall prey to that. Because they try to make you feel special about buying a game that's not done. It's one thing to put a reserve on something. Alright, so if you're going to get a launch game, that's cool. You know, be like, hey, like I put $10 down so I can get a game. But like, do launch, does like putting a reserve on something really matter anymore? Because everything's digital download, right? Unless you're really into like a CD copy of something. But I used to work at a GameStop and I did midnight launches all the time. Where's this yellow one go? I know it goes somewhere here. Did I just have the connector? Yeah, I had the connector upside down. There we go. Now that one can go here. And this one here. Yay! Cool, I figured it out. So yeah, so I got to playing some Alan Wake. That's a really, really good game. I'm starting to really like story-driven games. And Alan Wake is a very uniquely written, story-driven game. It's even fun. It's even fun to watch if you're just a participant watching. So, let's say your friend or your spouse is playing the game. It's still a fun game just to watch somebody play because you're just watching the story, you're listening to the story. It's a really cool experience. I went back and I played Alien Isolation again. Oh, that is good. That is a game. If you really, really want to play a scary game that doesn't have cheap jump scares, like screw that Resident Evil stuff. Like Alien Isolation is legit, like thriller. Put some headphones on, turn the lights off. That'll scare you. Then an oldie but goodie. And I only got into Alien Isolation because it was on Steam, and they had like a super high def one, and I was playing it on my Thunderbolt displays with my surround sound headphones, and I'd never played it on any kind of high quality equipment. Ho ho ho, ho 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 ho. It was really good. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm happy with the work that I got done today. Going on 6 o'clock. I think I'll go home and get something to eat, make my street tacos, guys. Let's see what's going on in the old chat skis, huh? Let's answer some chat. I gotta get the vertical phone here. Ooh. Yeah. Kind of lost this. Hammer these. Technicians always suffer in situations like these. Yeah, sometimes. Elizabeth, what's the situation on the vehicle? I say 80% done. We'll get the center pocket in. We'll get the radio in. Uh, get this fixed up and charge it up with some AC and be good to go. So definitely something that I can work on while I drink my morning coffee. Caesar says extra labor for children's seats. No, we're not charging extra labor. We're just saying that if they have to be removed to work on your vehicle, we will not strap them back in. That's a liability. And no shop should be putting them in for the customer unless the customer is present. But the customer needs to do the final certification check so that the customer is liable for the installation of the seat. Learning with Juan, check your StreamYard. Baja, good stuck. I'm trying another streaming service. I'm using Streamlabs instead of StreamYard today. Super Monkey says he didn't have to pull the dash for the Evap core. Good, good. These are sucky jobs. Brock says he has the same shirt as mine, but it says Mopar. Yeah, that's because it's through Redcap. Redcap makes a lot of dealership shirts now. You can actually go to a lot of dealership websites and you can actually buy the technician's shirts. Trial and error. They are never the same, even if you put them back together correctly. Uh, I generally, I've only had a couple of big removals like this where I had to go back in and tweak something, like a rattling AC duct. But I've, if you do these a lot, which I have, then you kind of know where you need to stop and reinspect and readjust and make sure that all your screw holes are getting lined up correctly. But if it's your first time, then yeah, you'll probably get a comeback. But that's just the secret is it's a layer. It's so as you put on a layer, you double check all your alignment pins. You put on another layer, you double check all your alignment pins. And while that might seem like a waste of time, you should slap it together and send it. You're just going to give yourself a headache because next thing you know, your dash is going to be pointing that way, your center console is pointing this way. There's gaps in your trim. You just need to understand. Is that a G35 dash? No, this is a 18 Outback dash. Surprisingly, this is not warranty. This one is CP. Edgar guessed it right. Yeah, we did an evaporator core. We started yesterday. I threw in the HVAC box this morning. Got distracted by a lot of admin warranty paperwork. Had to straighten out, so I didn't get on this until like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Uh, Email says replacement of cabin air filter in a new Mercedes. Hey, I've done a battery in a Mercedes, and that was annoying. So the battery was under the passenger seat, so you got to pull out the passenger seat. You got to pull back an access panel, take the battery out, put the battery in, and when you put the seat back in, then you have to do a calibration on the seat. You have to do a function check of the SRS system, and then you have to program the battery. It's like an hour and a half job for a battery. So when I was telling I was telling the person who bought the car new, or I'm sorry, they bought the car used, and they were like, "Hey, it was such a good deal." I'm like, "Yeah, this is why it was a good deal, because one, that's a $1,200 battery from Mercedes. Two, it's like another $500 to pay somebody to put it in, because you have to do all these function checks. Like the computers know when you disconnect the seat, and it automatically says recalibrate seat. So I had to recalibrate the seat for the SRS system, had to recalibrate it for the seat memory and the servo motors and all that stuff. It was crazy. And I was telling them, I was like, that's why this battery is so expensive, because the battery is designed to last 8 years. They don't want you to go back in and do it. Rock 962000, what was my diag method for the evaporator core? Actually, my diag method is multi-stage diagnostics. So in most situations, I can diagnose by just using my AC manifold gauges and looking at my pressures, using my traditional R134 and 1234YF AC sniffer. Unfortunately, this was a nasty problem to where it was a really, really slow leak, and so the sniffers weren't picking it up. And because of the routing of the ducking, I couldn't really get a good read with the sniffer. And because this is a 1234YF system, charging it up, you're losing hundreds of dollars worth of Freon. So you don't want to lose all that expensive Freon. And no customer is going to pay you to recharge and sniff and recharge and sniff, and no shop is going to lose the money on that. So I've invested in a CO2 tank with regulators, and I will charge the system up with a continuous supply of CO2 at 150 psi. All right, because CO2 is like 25 cents a pound. So I have no problem just running a constant supply of CO2, and then I'll run around with an R744 sniffer for CO2, and I'll look for the leak that way. And that R7 sniffer is slicker than snot. Like, because you expel CO2 when you talk, just talking around it will set it off. So that's my tactic for looking for really weird leaks. And then also I have a developer spray for CO2. So if I suspect a leak is somewhere and I sniff it, I'm like, okay, there's a leak somewhere around here. I can put this developer spray on there and it'll bubble up. I got a whole bunch of stuff, yeah. So I specialize in looking for AC leaks. It's one of my fortes. I always try to tell folks in the shop, if they can't find the leak within 10 minutes, just kick the whole job to me, because it might be a big nasty one like this. All right, that's chat, folks. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the heads up, and thanks for coming in. Thanks for the thumbs up if you haven't left one.